Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Lock Shop. Thank you very much for being here. We are at Boston Pizza Clareview. Of course, Hus is in Winnipeg, as per usual. And Pat's going to join us. P. Greg's going to pop by a little bit later on. We obviously got the RBC Heritage. We'll get to our picks there. 7 of the NHL series are set. We can get to that. And look at this, Hus. We're at Boston Pizza Clareview. Completely reworked location. They had a fire here, so they've rebuilt. This screen in behind me, like seeing it on the show, doesn't do it justice. Like, this is a 174-inch screen. It's bloody insane. Anyway, check this out too. 6 o'clocker lagers in the house. That's our beer right there.
You gotta love it. You can get a 6 o'clocker lager at BP.
Yeah, you can at Clareview BP's. Jason's brought them in. So just it's a beautiful, beautiful day here, Hus. Look at this crystal clear 6 o'clock.
Nothing like a 6 o'clocker lager at 11 a.m.
I was actually sipping it a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Hey, Tommy, I think I can hear you. I don't know if I can hear you guys in the background there now. So problem solved. What's up, Hus? How you doing, buddy?
Well, I'm doing great. Been kind of an eventful morning around here. Alex Iafallo signs an extension. People are fired up about that. He's been
good number for him. Hey, he's got to be pretty happy. He must become kind of important there now. Hey.
Oh, dude. Listen, he's just one of those guys that I think a lot of people take for granted. He had been playing at times on the fourth line just because the Jets are a pretty deep team. And then Gabe Vilardi goes down and he moves up to the first line, scores, plays great defense, been a huge contributor on the penalty kill and the second power play unit this year. And it's another tough day for the no one wants to play in Winnipeg crowd because we seem to get these guys here and they sign and they like it here and sticking around. So, nice bit of business by the Jets. I mean, he was making $4 million, so he actually takes a little bit of a haircut to 3.67. But it's a nice deal for the Jets. I mean, 3 years, a guy that literally can fit everywhere in the lineup, really beloved teammate, and a guy that, he's an American, was playing in LA, traded here, and decides to re-sign. It's a great story for the Jets. So anyways, that's kind of occupied us this morning, but we're still waiting on when the hell these games are.
I know. I don't understand how the West hasn't been announced yet. It's all done. Well, it's set.
Listen,
and I know that TV things out east because of the Habs, probably, right? If the Habs get in, it's going to be different.
It's got to be the Habs. And the Habs, the Habs still, they've had 3 chances so far. They've got 1 more tonight to book their ticket to the playoffs. And if they don't get it done against the Carolina Hurricanes, then the Columbus Blue Jackets will be playing the New York Islanders for an opportunity to make the playoffs tomorrow night, which is a pretty juicy scenario, but one that has everybody else sort of, hanging around. Now, are you under the assumption that there's no way the Oilers and Kings would start on Saturday?
Impossible, because the Lakers play a home game on Saturday. The Lakers are playing at 6:30 our time, so 5:30 Pacific time. Mm-hmm. So, like right now, what I'm assuming and what I've kind of heard is that likely, very, very, very likely Sunday, Wednesday, because the Lakers are playing Saturday, Tuesday. And then I also heard today that it could end up being on Sunday, Toronto, Ottawa, Edmonton, LA doubleheader, which then I would think put the Jets on Saturday, and maybe the Habs on Saturday if they make it in. Like, would that make sense?
Well, that's my assumption, and again, this is just kind of trying to read the tea leaves and put 2 and 2 together, is that Rogers wants the Habs in prime time on Saturday, assuming they make the playoffs, because the Battle of Ontario is going to start on Sunday. I'm those teams play on Thursday. So, I mean, we are assuming that the 7 o'clock Eastern, the primetime slot will be Battle of Ontario. It would make a lot of sense for the Oiler game to be the late game in that scenario. So we've been expecting, like, I kind of thought there's a concert here on Saturday night, but they were going to move it to, they can move it if they want. It's not a huge one. It's BTO. so they can move it to.
Hey, you be careful what you say about BTO. My God,
well, especially in Winnipeg.
It's not a huge one in Winnipeg. BTO, come on.
I think they've played here a few times before. Although I know the April Wine opening as well. So, I mean, it's a big classic rock show. But anyways, that can and will be moved if necessary. There's a couple things complicating on the St. Louis side because Friday and Saturday next week, the Enterprise Center is booked for concerts.
Is it Brooks BTO as well in the most iconic twist?
It's not BTO. It's Brooks and Dunn. And when we were checking, like we did a deep dive last night. We went in and checked out Brooks and Dunn's concert schedule. They're playing the 2 days before the following 3 nights. So there's no wiggle room with that one. And then the Saturday night show is Cat Williams. Now, I have no idea how big of a show that is going to be, but with something like a big name comedy act, like a Sunday night show is very different than a Saturday night show, I think, for comedy.
Yeah.
And obviously they booked this. I think people will be traveling in for it. So I don't think that there will be games in St. Louis on Friday or Saturday, which then means like if you started Saturday, Monday here in Winnipeg and then go to St. Louis and play Wednesday, well, then you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday before game 4. So that might mean pushing it back a little bit. I think if the Habs are limited.
I was just going to say, could game 3 be Thursday? Because the concerts in St. Louis are Friday, Saturday?
Yes. And if that's the case, then,
because if they play Saturday, Monday, sometimes they go 2 games between days, like day for travel and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And
that's exactly,
I think. It could be Thursday, Sunday. It would just have to be a double day off between 3 and 4.
2 days, 2 days in between. The bottom line is that they're going to have a tough time being on the game day off schedule for the first round. And I think it looks like there's a bunch of other markets that are sort of in similar situations, but I cannot remember a situation like this, Dusty, where you've got basically everything. Like we know all 7 series. There's 1 series, and it's just going to be, we know Washington's hosting, and they're either hosting the Habs or Columbus. And yet we don't have games.
What happens? Let's say Montreal doesn't win tonight, and then we're waiting until tomorrow. They're not going to announce the playoff games till late Thursday night or Friday morning, and then the series are going to start on Saturday?
It seems crazy to me. I mean, maybe a partial announcement. I would think that we would know something at least for the Saturday games come tomorrow. And I mean, you could say a game is going to be like, I'm just thinking about for our series here. I mean, if they knew it was going to be Saturday, you could say go Saturday, even if the time is tentative, but I don't know. I'm thinking that if the Canes if the Canes beat the Habs, well, let's just say Montreal makes it. I assume that they will be the Saturday night primetime game. And then we're thinking Winnipeg either late night or potentially there could be an afternoon game on Sunday. Like I know the Battle of Ontario is going to be primetime. Oilers, if they play on Sunday, that'll be the late game on the West Coast, which would mean if the Winnipeg St. Louis game is happening, you're probably putting it in advance and Sunday afternoon game.
A triple header,
which would be big. I mean, listen, I think everyone wants to fire this thing up on a Saturday night here. I mean,
even if it's a little bit later, like as the late game, like yes, Saturday night.
I mean, welcome to life in the Central Division. I mean, I know sometimes you guys have 8:00 puck drops. That's the one thing. Come playoff time, whether it's Winnipeg or Minnesota or Dallas or St. Louis, you get these 8:30 starts, which are really like 8:42 pumped puck drops.
The Oilers game tonight, you're talking locally. Are you talking locally?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's like, I don't think we start games. Like tonight's game, because it's in San Jose, is one that nobody cares about. And like the puck's going to drop at like 8:42 for the final game of the regular season against, for us at least. But you guys sometimes have games in Winnipeg, start in Winnipeg, like at 8:30?
Yeah. At almost later than that, like almost 9:00.
But a game being played in Winnipeg?
Yes.
Oh, geez. I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, think about it because you've got all these teams in the East. So in the first round, when they're trying to set up double headers, they play the Eastern games at 6 o'clock our time. And then the late games are basically 9 o'clock starts. Like the Central gets pushed into that West window where the Oilers are, who are in Mountain time, and the West Coast teams are in Pacific time. Now, it's already happened a couple times this year in the regular season. Minnesota, and it's usually Wednesday nights, which is quite a night that start a game at 9 o'clock. Minnesota did that for TNT. Dallas did that for TNT. And the Jets have done that in the past. So every now and then, Central teams get bumped into that West window, which makes the games start much later, which is great for business at the bars around the arena. And it certainly can crank up the crowd quite a bit early on in the game. The challenge is maintaining the energy through till almost midnight. And but of course, you get overtime for a game that starts at 9.
Oh my God.
You're pushing into the next day. So anyways, I'm looking forward to seeing what we got, but we do have some series prices.
We got series prices. We're going to dive into those. I just want to hit the chat here quickly. Jake over in the chat says Brooks and Dunn are electric. And I thought he was kind of joking, but then he did say he did see them recently, and they are. And then
Big Jake says there's big country guy.
Yeah, they're supposed to open for Morgan Wallen here. I did not. I was not aware of that either. He must be coming to. Where are they coming to Commonwealth Duke? I don't know. Anyway, we're down here at the Boston Pizza at Clairview. VR Montenegro's here. The Godfather's here. Swing on by for lunch today. This screen, as Jake also said in the chat, that's what I wanted to bring up. Pretty clever way for Dusty to watch the Blue Jays game on the 174-inch screen behind me because they're playing right now. So I got it in front of me on I don't know what this is. I mean, this is like the most recently built Boston Pizza in Western Canada. And this monitor, I mean, the other places got to do this. This thing's worth coming down for just to watch a game on a screen this size. It's insane. Like it's nuts. So yeah, Jake, I am watching the Blue Jays.
Is this BP right by the rink?
No, this is the one out in Clairview, northeast end of the city. There's a big fire here. And so they just had to rebuild. So they just updated it. And it's like you're walking into a BP's in 2035. Like all the TVs are massive. It's just everything's new. It's pretty slick actually. Like the VLT section is got some walls around it. So they have some private. It's really well done. I like it here. It's a good time.
Listen, there's nothing like BP around playoff time, especially if you've got a newly renovated BP. By the way, I did see their playoff menu. I am a stand for BP wings are the best. I will put them up against any place's wings. So they got the wing flights, but I'm quite intrigued by the triple pepperoni pizza. Three different
pepperoni pizza.
Three different kinds. You should maybe try that out today, Dusty.
Well, they've got Jason out here who owns this location. I've seen some people in chat being like, Jason's an absolute beauty. And he is. He's a good dude. But he was emailing me this morning when I was doing the morning show about some of the menu items we are going to try. And the one, let me just see here. I mean, you're a big BP guy too. So the one is a wingman pizza, which is signature pizza sauce, mozzarella and cheddar, topped with the all meat chicken wing bites.
Which are awesome.
Your choice of wing sauce on the pizza, and then a buttermilk ranch drizzle. And you cannot go wrong with a buttermilk ranch drizzle. So we're trying all that. We're trying that one, the wingman pizza, the Scoville Showdown. I mean, those are some insanely hot wings. The new Canadian All-Star poutine we're getting into, and then Double Trouble nachos. So I hope Tommy's hungry when he rolls in for Oil Stream, buddy. Because
are you going to try the hot wing?
I mean, I don't know about this Scoville thing. I'm usually give me some salt and pepper with ranch. So, I mean, I might try.
You need to do one wing. It'll be you need to do one wing on the Oil Stream, kind of the hot ones.
Yeah, the hot ones.
Make you do all of them, but it would be make sure you got a 6 o'clocker lager there to help with the heat.
Not a problem.
But that would be good to see you dive into that.
We do have series prices though, Hus. So let's dive into it. The 7 series that are set, even though we don't know when they start. We went through all of these on the Nielsen show this morning. The biggest favorites, obviously, Carolina, Vegas, And what's that Winnipeg number at? -238. Yeah, they're one of the 3 biggest favorites as well. Outside of that, we were talking about it on one of our segments today. Like, nothing against the Jets series. Obviously, we're keeping tabs on that because it's the Jets. And obviously in Edmonton, Oilers Kings 4. We're pretty pumped about that. Colorado, Dallas, the Rantanen showdown is amazing. Tampa, Florida is awesome. And a Battle of Ontario. Like, as far as storylines go, and I know Winnipeg's got a storyline of their own against the Blues from recent history. So, like, as far as storylines go, this might be one of the best first rounds we've had in quite some time.
I mean, I can't disagree. I mean, like, this Jets Blues series is going to be great. I mean, it'll be lower down on people's power polls just because of the intrigue of those 3 series you mentioned. I mean, Tampa, Florida, unreal. Ottawa, Toronto, Ottawa getting in, taking on the Leafs. And, you know, it's funny. I kind of expected, like, just quickly on the Jets series, Jets -238 for the series price. St. Louis +190. I'll be honest. I was surprised the Jets were as big of favorites as they are.
Especially with the disrespect they've been getting all year.
Well, it's funny. I mean, and I don't know whether this is a, you know, kind of like, hey, there's tons of cool bettors in Winnipeg and people were looking at that and jumping on it, and maybe that moved the line or that's taken into consideration. I mean, hey, listen, they were the number 1 team in the league all year. They just pounded St. Louis, ending their winning streak, and then St. Louis sort of hasn't looked as good since, other than their pounding of Utah on those back-to-backs last night. I didn't think it would get up to -200. So, hey, listen, I mean, the books know. So I like to see that number there. I was surprised, though, that the Leafs weren't a bigger favorite. Like, the Toronto-Ottawa number is Maple Leafs -172 and the Ottawa Senators +140. And, I mean, I guess part of this is the fact that Ottawa has had a lot of success against the Leafs this season, and I'm sure that takes it into consideration. But, I mean, the Leafs finished the job. They win the division. You know, one of the top 2 seeds or the 2 seeds, and they get Ottawa. And as much as I hope that this is a really tight series, and I think it could be, and I think it could go, you know, 6 or 7 games, I wasn't expecting the number on Ottawa to be as short as +172. And I thought the Leafs would be probably laying at least -200. So I'd say if you're a Leaf fan or someone that thinks the Leafs are going through, this is actually a better number than at least I had thought that we'd see when they dropped.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, Toronto didn't beat Ottawa this year. Do you read into much on the fact that the Sens swept the Leafs? I mean, I'm wondering if that's why this number might be where it is.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that has to be part of it because, I mean, listen, Ottawa snuck in. They've got no playoff experience. I mean, the Leafs have all of their own demons for the first round, so maybe that's cooked into it as well. But I would say absolutely that, you know, the Leafs, you know, not beating the Sens this year has to be a part of that. And, I mean, Ottawa's a dangerous team because, I mean, they're playing with house money. I mean, all of the pressure in this series is on Toronto. Yeah. I mean, they're expected to win. They should. They're a really, really good team, and they haven't got it done in the past, and now it's time to do it against a team that has no playoff experience.
Would you say, us, because we were asked this question this morning, which team is facing the most pressure to win a Stanley Cup this year? A lot of people were texting in and in the chat saying the Maple Leafs. They won the division. It's the Leafs. But, you know, first year new head coach. I mean, I don't know. Who do you think it is? Like, across the league of the teams going to the dance, which team do you think is facing the most pressure to win the Cup?
It's a great question.
Yeah, I don't like, there was a lot of Leaf people, but I don't think it's really, like, it's a tough question to answer. I don't think there's a clear cut to do it. Like, I know the Oilers have had a tough year, but I was like, man, like, if we're looking at let's just talk Oilers and Leafs for a second. I was like, the Oilers almost won it last year. Like, the Leafs have a new coach. It's been great. You can win a cup with a new coach. Don't get me wrong. The Oilers happened last year, went to Game 7. But just because the Oilers, you know, didn't have the best of regular seasons doesn't mean that a team that came that close to winning it last year shouldn't have pressure on them to run it back. But then I don't know, like Dallas, like Winnipeg didn't really come up much. And I'm like, I guess people are waiting to see Winnipeg, go on a run maybe a bit.
The Jets are under the most pressure, I think, to win the first round, along with the Leafs.
No, but I think you're right the Leafs losing to the Sens would be end of the world out there. But the Jets losing to the Blues, same thing, right?
Listen, it would completely if the Jets were bounced in the first round, it would take a lot of the shine off of what's been a magical season for them winning the President's Trophy. But it would be a huge disappointment, and that would just compound the narrative around that team that they can't get it done in the playoffs. So I would say early on. Now, if the Jets, you're probably getting Colorado waiting for you in the second round, or Dallas. And if Dallas is there, they would have beat Colorado. So, to win the Cup, it's certainly a great opportunity this year with the way the team is built and Hellebuck and all these guys, in their prime and having career years. But when I look at the team that's under the most pressure to win the whole thing, I might say Dallas.
Back-to-back conference finals.
It's not Florida. They just won.
Yeah.
It's not Tampa. They've got a couple cups, although I do think that they realize this is sort of their window, like of the Hedman, Vasilevsky era. Maybe
very much could be another legit run for the Tampa Bay Lightning here.
One of their best chances. Vegas in the market and from ownership. But they've done it recently. Colorado as well.
You know what? Dallas, with the addition, they went out and brought in Rantanen. Maybe it is Dallas. Maybe Dallas is the unbiased Edmonton Toronto answer. Maybe it is the Dallas Stars.
Yeah. I think the answer is different if you're saying who needs to get out of the first round the most. Put it this way. If Florida or Tampa, whoever loses that, it's going to suck losing to your rival in the first round. But, you can see it. I would say the same thing with Colorado, Dallas. They're under incredible pressure to do special things. But if you lose, man, that's a really, really tough out against a great team that they're playing in the first round. It's teams like Winnipeg and Toronto when it comes to the first round that, won their divisions, had these great regular seasons, avoided those hellacious 2-3 matchups in the first round. And that's part of the reason why you see them as much bigger favorites. But it's so wide open. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 10 teams of the 16 in between 6-1 and 10-1 to win the Cup. It is wild that the Kings number is 20. You go from Edmonton at 10, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Washington, Toronto, Tampa, and then you go all the way to the 20. I would say that is the number that maybe doesn't make the most sense to me. But again, you also have to look at their path. They've got their own personal boogeyman in the Edmonton Oilers in the first round. You'd assume that you're playing Vegas in the second round. And if you're lucky enough to get out of the Pacific, then you're going to play a hell of a hockey team that won the Central Division. So I'm sure that's cooked into it. I am just a little surprised that, Edmonton is 10-1 and LA is 20-1 when you look at where the series price is right now and obviously what that team has done all season long.
Yeah, Oilers minus 133 favorites to beat the Los Angeles Kings. Brendan, let me know when Patty's good to go, and we'll bring in P. Greggy. Obviously, tomorrow we can dive into these series prices a little bit more. Hey, us, and maybe look at some value plays. And
yeah, for sure. And we hopefully will know the other one and a bit of a schedule. Start looking into game one numbers. Just a quick note. When the Dallas-Colorado line dropped, it was a pick'em. Yep. And then it went from 109 on both sides. Then it was minus 105, minus 115 yesterday in favor of Colorado. It's now Avalanche minus 132 and Dallas plus 110. So how about that? Dallas was right there at the top of the league. They lost to the Jets last week at home. They haven't had a great last couple of weeks after that big run.
Yeah. It's kind of been
they have home ice advantage, and they're a plus 110 series underdog for a team that finished third in the league in points.
Yeah, it is kind of. We went over all the lines this morning on our show and the Nielsen show, and when I got to that Colorado one, I actually legitimately said, I said, wait a second, did I miss something? Did Colorado track down Dallas and they have home ice in this series? Because I had to I thought I was missing something there. So yeah, interesting. So there's some value to be had in these series prices. So we will we'll dive into that. I mean, we have to start with Battle of Ontario, I guess, with Pete Gregoire. We've been waiting 3 days to chat with him after the Masters as well.
Yeah,
so
there's a couple of topics there's lots to get from Patty.
There's a lot to get to. So let's bring in Pat from Coolbet today. Find him on Twitter at Pete Gregoire. Just because we're on the hockey theme already, Patty, you're in Ontario. What's the vibe right now? Toronto, Ottawa, Sens and Leafs. What are they saying?
I don't know if you can see the bags under my eyes, fellas. I stayed up till about 3 a.m. I'm watching old videos from the 2000s Battles of Ontario, watching Joe Nieuwendyk go 5-hole on Patrick Lalime, Steve Thomas running guys through boards, Gary Roberts taking over the series, Alfredson going toe-to-toe with Matt Sundin. Like, absolutely, I cannot wait for this. Yes, is there a part of me that's a little bit nervous? Is there the demons that are in the closet? Oh, you haven't beat the Senators at all this year. You haven't beat them since last year. You look at Brady Tkachuk, man, this guy's built for the playoffs. You look at all the demons that are in the closet when it comes to this group. Well, I think we put that all on the back burner, wait to see what happens in game one and enjoy the ride. It is going to be unbelievable. This was my childhood. This is when,
yes.
This was the best. This was the absolute best. And of course I think it's going to be a great series. I think too many people are on opposite sides of the coin. It's everyone saying the Leafs are going to choke, the Sens are going to walk all over them, and they're going to go through. And then on the other side, it's the Sens doesn't matter that they've beaten the Leafs all season long. The Leafs are the better team. They're going to get over the hump here. I think it's going to be a great series.
The truth is somewhere in the middle of that.
Exactly.
Somewhere in the middle of that.
What exactly? I'm kind of torn on this pick.
I kind of thought that I was expecting to see like minus 200 or something for the Leafs. I was a little surprised it was only minus 172 and Ottawa plus 140.
Well, I think the big thing is the fact of the matter is that when you look at the history from this year, it's really hard to flip the switch when one side has had the better of the other. To be quite frank, when you look on paper, when you look at these teams, star power versus star power, when you look depth, when you look goaltending, it's hard to argue that Toronto's not top to bottom the better team. But with history on the side, and of course, I'm sure the odds makers are baking in the fact of the struggles that this Leafs group has had over the years, getting over the hump. So am I surprised a little bit? At the same time, I'm not too surprised because I do think a lot of people are going to be jumping to bet against the Leafs. I'm reading the chat. They're talking about plus 700 for Ottawa in 7. I see it. We see it. The sports books see it as well. And the fact that this is, Toronto is such a public team, even outside of Ontario. There's a lot of Toronto fans outside of there. It has gotten to a point though with the struggles. I've got buddies who do this, and they don't say anything until the series is over. They'll bet the other side and do the happiness hedge. Well, if the Leafs are going to lose in the first round, at least I can make some money. So I think the sports books are also carrying their ass just in case there's some Leaf fans that are doing some happiness hedging. Won't be me, though. Won't be me.
No, you got to ride it. Who on the Leafs is going to get tasked with Brady Tkachuk? Because let's face it, I am so excited. It doesn't matter that they're playing Toronto. I was so fired up just for Ottawa to get in because I want to see what playoff Brady Tkachuk is like. And I think he's going to be an absolute menace every single time he's on the ice. Is there a guy that you think will match up against him and, will be the guy from the Leafs side of things? It'll be, you're going to run around like an idiot. Guess what? Not on my watch.
Well, I think from, just a matchup standpoint, I imagine it's going to be the Matthews line up against Brady Tkachuk's line. And, from a defensive standpoint, Matthews definitely can handle it. But from the tough stuff standpoint, sure, Matthews can hold his own, but I don't think he's going to be the one who's going to be running him into the boards and the face watch. After the last few months, you could put Matthew Nyes in that category. I don't know how much of Matthew Nyes you guys have been able to see. This guy's an absolute beast, Nyes, man. Eh? He is like, unbelievable,
Jake was
man.
loving him too last week. Jake was like, Matty Nyes, like he's the emotional leader. I was like, what? What's happening? I got to pay more attention, I guess.
You do. This guy, I mean, he's built like a refrigerator. He's got hands softer than kitten's ears. Like, the guy is legit, man. He is absolutely legit. And he dropped the gloves a couple of, a month ago, and turns out the guy's a southpaw. And I it was Whitehorse from Vegas. And he actually, not only held his own, he won the fight. Now, do you want Matthew Nyes fighting the playoffs? Probably not. Brady Tkachuk, I mean, it wouldn't be surprised if those two guys go. Like, Nyes certainly isn't a fighter. I don't like his chances against Brady Tkachuk in that, but he's not going to shy away. Another emotional leader as well. And, I don't think he's going to play on that first line because just the way that this first line has been playing over the last, few months. Max Domi seems like a guy, you want to talk about an emotional leader. He's probably not going to play the minutes that you want from a guy that's going to drag you in a fight, but a guy that's going to score big goals in the playoffs, a guy that's not going to be afraid to step in and take numbers and take things into his own hand. That's going to be Max Domi. I think that is going to be that guy. Who is a guy that will drag you into the fight, a guy that knows what it takes, on these deep playoff runs, a guy that simply is, just built for playoff hockey. So Max Domi's, I guess, the 2A, you could say, for that. But I think, to be quite honest, there's not really a guy that you can say like, oh, he's the neutralizer for Brady Tkachuk. There's not too many Brady Tkachuks that grow on trees. There's one other one, and it's his brother, Matthew.
Yeah. That's it, though. You're right. I mean, they're unicorns.
Yeah,
those guys are absolute unicorns. That's why it's a good question. Now, one more on this Battle of Ontario. I was golfing yesterday with a buddy, and he's a Leafs fan, and he was like, "I'm really worried about Ullmark." So where do you come out on this battle between the pipes? I know we were talking with Jamie McLennan on the Nielsen show this morning, and he talked about the year that Stolarz has had, but he's never been a guy who's kind of carried a heavy workload. He's only played like 30-some games this year. Are you afraid of Ullmark maybe being a difference maker in this series?
If the last 8 games wasn't there for the sample size for Stolarz, like, he's been unbelievable this year, but the last 8 games he's stepped up. He's 8-0. A few shutouts in there as well. He has been phenomenal. He's just so calm and cool and collected. The fact they also have Joseph Wall, who can back up. And if things do go sideways, I think he's got the capabilities to take over a series. Now, mind you, the guy is made of glass, and the reason why he hasn't been able to be that guy is because of his health. I think last year, if he was healthy, I think the Toronto Maple Leafs get out of that first round, or at least win Game 7 against Boston. So, yes, Ullmark is a little bit scary, but I do think that with Stolarz, this is a big prove-it moment for him. And, there's so many times we've seen in the NHL in a deep Stanley Cup run, it's not always the big, sexy name that is the goalie that rides you to a Stanley Cup final. Sometimes it's just the goalie that's playing the best at that time, and maybe Stolarz is that guy right now that's going to be able to hold down the fort. Because let's be honest, I get it. Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, these are guys that have fizzled in these big moments. They haven't had a lot of help in between the pipes as well. They have had a lot of suspect performances in these first rounds as well. You look at Campbell, you look at Samsonov last year. There have been a lot of demons inside the pipes where they played. Look, even Freddie Anderson from years past. Great games, put up 30+ saves in a Game 7, but they let that trickler in. They let that stinker in, and the rest is history. I think Stolarz is that guy. I really do. He's big. He, moves well, and I think he wants to use this as a prove it point. And the fact that he's got Joe Wall sniffing down his back, I think that adds a little bit of more additional pressure. And he's a guy that I think, at least this year, has thrived under pressure.
All right, Patty, look, if you want to talk more hockey, hop on with us tomorrow if you're available.
Let's do it.
We're going to be talking a ton of hockey, so let's do that because we got to get to the RBC Heritage, but we have to get your thoughts on Rory Sunday. And, I mean, it's just but incredible stuff, like just incredible drama.
It was the best. It was honestly, I mean, automatically your memory goes to 2019 with Tiger, but I think from that standpoint, you look at the leaderboard, sure, it was loaded. Tiger comes roaring back, and you're like, oh my God, he's going to do this. From a true drama standpoint, and some of the insane shots that we saw from Rory, this had to have been, if not one of the best Sunday finishes that we've seen. The fact that he did battle his demons, like, I think honestly, guys, like, if he just goes out there and mops the floor with Bryson and walks away with a 3 or a 4 stroke victory, I think no doubt we're all pumped and oh my God, like he did it finally. But the fact that there were multiple times where he nearly gagged this thing away, I think he really did finally truly slay the demons, because he tried to give it back.
Yes.
He tried to give it back multiple times. And he was able to find a way, goes into a playoff, hits a putt that, like, when he was lining up for that putt on 18 to go to the playoff to win, as soon as I saw for the Grand Slam on that graphic, I'm like, this thing's missing.
Grand Slam.
This thing's missing. This thing is missing, and he did. But kudos to him, man. Super happy for him. Great for golf, and a little bit of a tease into this week. Watching him get that jacket, obviously, in Butler's cabin was awesome. And just the 10 minutes of just silence on the broadcast, watching him celebrate with his family. But when he went in and got the jacket put on him by Scotty, and when they're sitting there and they're talking to Rory, and Scotty is just sitting there and stewing in the moment, I hope we now get a true rivalry between these two guys, because for as good as both of them have been, we haven't had a big tournament where come Sunday, these two guys are dueling against each other. It's always been one guy's running away with it. Like Scotty's running away with it. Rory makes a bit of a charge and closes the gap, but not quite. Or it's been, Rory's winning. Scotty makes a charge on Sunday, but he's too far back to come back. I want to see in one of these majors, both these guys at the final pairing going toe to toe. And I think this week I am going to use my 30% profit boost on Scotty Scheffler, because I think this is an FU moment. I think he's going to be motivated to defend his title and also just prove, hey, great moment for Rory, but I'm still the world number one for a reason.
Well, he's going to need to step it up. I mean, basically, he was really good in a lot of cases, but just not good enough. And we're now back into Scotty with the iffy putter.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's not sinking putts, it's tough to win, even against Rory, who made 2 or 3 of the greatest shots we've ever seen, and 2 or 3 of the worst shots we've ever seen from a guy that ended up putting on a Masters green jacket. I do think, Patty, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this just before we get to these golf picks. The burden that Rory was carrying for 11 years, I mean, you could tell by the celebration, and obviously the roller coaster of what happened on Sunday afternoon was part of it. But I think a much bigger part of it was everything that he had been dealing with. And to your mention, I mean, battling the demons all day and then birdieing the playoff hole and finally getting it done. Like there is a scenario here, and I think it's more likely than not that this takes Rory to another, like the things that were holding Rory back, I think are done. And you hear people far smarter than me in the golf game say that this guy at this point right now is the most complete player he's ever been. And the only reason they don't say he's the best player in the world is because of deference to Scheffler with everything that he's done. But I really do think this is going to be the year of Rory. I'd be shocked if he didn't win at least one more major. And as we talked about on the show on Monday, he wins Quail Hollow at the PGA, which is the next one up.
Yep.
We will be talking about the potential of a historic year for Rory McIlroy.
And those tickets are live, buddy. Those tickets are live.
Yeah, those tickets are live. Exactly.
Yeah. Part of me was reluctant to put that thing up, but I said, we got to. Like the Rory Slam is alive and it's well. You talk about Quail Hollow, no doubt. That's a place where this guy has absolutely dominated. But he's going back home. Like he is going back home for the Open Championship. Another place that over the past couple of years in the Open, he's been in contention. And just think about St. Andrews, like him kind of choking it down the end there as well. Like so. I think he is live in all four, obviously. Well, all three, obviously. But at least two of them, he is going to be going into those events as favorites, co-favorite, whatever it may be. And yeah, I think we just got to enjoy the ride here. Bryson in the mix. I think, he didn't even have his stuff, guys. Like, it was not a great weekend for Bryson, but the guy is just such a grinder. He's such a, he's such a great player that he, even despite him not playing well, it obviously eventually caught up to him when the putter kind of went a little bit south for him on Sunday. But like, he's going to be a factor in all three of these majors going forward. So I would love to see a duel between these three guys that, in my opinion, the three best players on the planet today, going toe to toe in some of these majors. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Rory, it's going to be a lot of fun. But like, Rory's won this year alone now. He won at Augusta. He won at Pebble Beach. Like the guy's picking up big victories already. Like, the writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall. It's just the demons that allowed us not to get by it. But he was so poised and ready for this moment. Mind you, he almost blew it a couple times, but the writing was on the wall. He came up with some big victories. One at Sawgrass. Like, he won these big events coming into this. And I know that Masters between the players is different, but he was the best player on the planet over the past 2-3 months. He proved it the other day. And the thing that we all wanted to see him, we knew when it comes from a skill standpoint, he's there. We just wanted to see it in between the ears, and he was able to do it.
Yeah. Pebble, the players, and now Augusta. I mean, It's a hell of a start. Okay, what do we need to know about the RBC Heritage before making picks?
Fill us in here, Patty. Lay out the details for us and give us your picks.
It's an interesting one. I really honestly wish that this wasn't a signature event right after the Masters. Like, don't get me wrong, I love going. Like, we need a little bit of a cooling off period. I would love to see the Heritage even moved to a different spot of the year, because it is such a fun and great course. The other thing, though, it's like there is a lot of randomness to it, because you don't need to mash it off the tee. It's one of the shortest courses on tour, but you got to be super accurate, tight fairways. Some of the smallest, if not the smallest, greens as well. So approach game, ball striking, going to be important as well. Craftiness around the green, super important as well. And then in a lot of these tournaments where we could see a high score, putting is also going to come into factor. But it is a signature event, guys. We've saw it this year. Of the non-signature events, we're seeing people anywhere from like 75 to 1 to win. At the signature events, it's no shorter than like 25 to 1. So that leads me to believe like, hey, they're, probably need to pick from the top of the board. But because Harbour Town has some of those quirks, and also we might see a lot of wind this weekend, fellas, we might need to get a bit creative and take some long shots down the board as well.
All right, let's get into it. Patty, who do you like?
I'll be quick because I know Hus probably has to get going here. I already said it. I'm taking Scotty plus 400. I'll use the 300 profit boost. There's also a boosted number on him at plus 450 if you've already used your profit boost or want to use it somewhere else. So you can also get it at plus 450 in the exclusive tabs. I'm also on Jordan Spieth, 40 to 1. I know the Jordan Spieth experience is not for everyone. It's a roller coaster, but it's almost summertime, so I'm hopping on this coaster. I'm gonna ride here because, to be quite frank, fellas, he has been fantastic at this golf course. Won here 3 seasons ago, lost to Fitzpatrick in a playoff the next year, and he's had some great results here. And to be quite honest, he's been playing pretty good golf as well. T14 last week at the Masters, so I'm gonna ride with him. Super trendy pick this week, but Daniel Berger 50 to 1. I really like him here. He's been playing a lot of golf. A lot of people have been waiting for him to get another victory here. I think his game lends perfectly for this course. Akshay Bhatia, I know he really struggled on the weekend. I'm not allowing that to get off of him because he's an elite ball striker. His putting has been unbelievable this year. And if we do see the wind start getting going, fellas, we know this guy is so crafty when it comes to those flighted shots, and he's able to be very, very crafty when it comes to some of his approach shots. And the bet of the week, I'm going way down the board. Probably, just a little tiny sprinkle for him to win outright, but for a top 20 at plus 800 and the first round leader at 80-1, which I'm coming off a first round leader.
You are
Ryu Hisatune, the 22-year-old from Japan. Yes, this has big time toasty vibes here. But in his last 3 starts, he's finished inside the top 5 twice, coming off a top 5 at the Valero. He's ranked inside the top 50 in driving accuracy and strokes gained off the tee. And he's a very, very solid short game player as well. The fact that I was on this a couple of days ago, and then I read our boy Matt Vincenzi's article, and he was on him, and Pat Mayo's on him, I feel so much better about it because I placed this bet for him to win at 200-1 on Monday morning when the odds dropped. So now that we have a first round leader number on there, I'm so pumped I could get that.
Hey, what's his name?
Ryu Hisatune.
It's a 200-1. Right. Go all the way.
200-1.
I'm going to ride because I mean, it would suck if we didn't. All right, Hus, who do you got?
I'm not getting a piece of a 200-1 guy mentioned on the lock shop. I will go back to the other end. I'm not going with Scotty at 4-1. I mean, could he win? Absolutely. I'm going to go back to the well with Xander Schauffele. Xander was close, but he wasn't quite there. I think this course, to be honest, is a great fit for Xander and his style of golf. And as I say, if he is clicking, he can play with anybody. So 15-1, best number I've seen anywhere is a Coolbet. I'll be jumping on that. I thought about Shane Lowry. But I think I'm going to pass. I'm going to go with Vic. The resurgence of Vic Hovland has been so much fun to watch. I mean, out of nowhere to win Valspar. And then he was right in the mix at Augusta. And I think he's feeling really good about himself. I could see that translating into a great event for him. So 32-1 will sprinkle on Vic. And then, I mean, stop me if you've heard me say this before, but we are getting an amazing number on my guy, Wyndham Clark. 66-1. He wasn't great at Augusta. We'll give him a pass on that. But he finished he was third in this tournament last year. He knows the course. He's played well. He has the game. So 66-1 on him. And when Wyndham Clark and Min Woo Lee are right beside each other in the odds boards, they both get a touch. I cannot quit the chef. 66-1. I love that number. But the bet of the week for the 30% win boost, I hate this guy, so I'm not betting him to win the tournament. But Patrick Cantlay, top 10, plus 140. It makes me, it gives me vibes of the Corey Connors, plus 120 top Canadian. I don't want to call it free money, but it might be on Sunday. I believe 6 of his last 7, he's been there at this tournament. It's kind of amazing that he hasn't won it before. That being said, I'm still not going to support him. I hope he doesn't win, but I hope he finishes, say, 9th and catches that pick. So if you're looking for a little more conservative bet, that's where I'm going with the 30% win boost. Patrick Cantlay plus 140, along with Xander, Vic, and then sprinkles on Min Woo Lee and Wyndham Clark.
Okay, and I'll whip through mine quickly, and then we can build a parlay before we got a kiddo for Oil Stream and WST. I'm gonna go with a guy who looked like he might take a run at Augusta until he didn't late. Ludwig Aberg. I'm gonna hop on him again. He's 13-1 here. I mean, his finish was horrible, but for a good stretch of Sunday, you're like, man. I mean, this is one of the guys who really have a shot at this.
He's so good.
He's unbelievable.
He is ridiculous. So 13-1 for him. I'm going back to my boy Henley at 23-1. Fired a 79 on the Thursday at Augusta, and it kind of just absolutely killed him. But he has 3 top
parlay.
20s here. Yeah, he did kill the parlay too.
Yes,
now, with that being said, Min Woo didn't finish top 20 either, right? So we would have lost it either way. So I was monitoring Min Woo after that because I was like, damn it, if he hits top 20, I'm going to take a lot of heat. So Russell Henley, 3 top 20s at this event since 2021. He's 23-1. Sung Jae Im. I get on Sung Jae here at 40-1. Since 2021 here, he's T13, T21, T7, T12. Had a great Sunday to finish T5 at the Masters as well at Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
So Sung Jae Im at 40-1. And then this is kind of like sort of an industry popular pick right now, but JT Poston at 66 since 2009. He's got 4 top 10s in this event and a T5 last year. So a little bit further down the board, sprinkle a little bit on JT at 66 to 1. So I'm on Aberg, Henley, Sungjae, and Poston. Man, we're all over the place today. Like there's not a lot of overlap here. This is kind of rare for us this season.
We are.
So what do we want to do for parlay?
Bang out some top 20s. You know what?
Also,
I think
my 30% boost. Sorry, Sepp Straka bounce back top 10 plus 275.
Love 30%
that. Boost on
nice.
That.
So, yeah.
You know, like the Cantlay top 20 numbers pretty chalky at minus 189. How about Vic
right.
top 20 at minus
Cantlay.
120?
Vic, okay. Patty, which of your guys do you want to throw in there?
I would probably lean either Spieth or Berger. I would say either one of those two. Spieth's course.
What are the numbers on those two guys?
Let me pull that up real quick. I should
Spieth
have
minus 111, Berger plus 110. I would argue
Your call, Patty.
Berger might be safer. Like the ceiling and the floor is so
for Rory.
It's such a large gap for Spieth.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, let's go. We could go Berger. I like both of them. I think Spieth is in my Greggy's golf special anyways, so let's do that.
Okay. And are you guys okay with Sungjae? If I throw him in there, he's got 3 top 20s at this event in the last 4 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
He was great.
So
he was great.
So Vic,
I like this
Berger, Sungjae. That should be a pretty good number, actually, when that's all said and done. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Patty, you want to hop on tomorrow and talk some hockey?
Yeah, let's do it. 100%.
You know what? If Jake's kicking around too, maybe we go 4-man weave.
4-man weave. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, like, that would be fun.
We should definitely do that before the playoffs start, whether that's today or Friday.
Well, Friday's a holiday. Friday we're not on.
Oh, that's right. Friday. Okay, yeah. So let's do it tomorrow.
Let's do it Thursday. Let's do it.
Tomorrow. Yeah, let's do it tomorrow. Okay, let's lock that in. Hus, quickly, what's coming up in WST, buddy?
Well, we'll be talking the IFALO extension. We'll be getting ready for the Jets Blues. We'll be doing some detective work, trying to figure out when the hell these games are. And who else is? And Wyshynski's coming on to kind of preview the playoffs overall. So it will be a fun show coming up in just a couple minutes over on Winnipeg Sports Talk.
All right, we got the oil stream coming up here right away. If you were watching or listening anywhere, swing on by Clearview Boston Pizza. You got to check out the main screen here. It's insane. It's like 174 inches. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in Edmonton. So we got that coming up. A good crowd already gathering here, and they got us actually on the TVs up here too, which is kind of fun. So we got the oil stream coming up next with myself and Tommy Gazzola. Full NHL playoff preview tomorrow on the Lock Shop. Hopefully, all 4 of us will be there, and that should be a lot of fun. Thank you very much for joining us in Lock Shop today. Best of luck tonight, and we will talk to you tomorrow.